Cities and communities are more than places where people live. They have a massive impact on our lives. From the homes where people live and raise their families, to the workplaces, shops, and infrastructure that meets our daily needs. To this end, we've invited experts to discuss how our cities and communities can become more thrivable, as our world becomes increasingly connected, providing people with happy, prosperous lives now and into the future. They are Professor Jayant Mahajan, a professor at Christ University, and Hafiz Khan, the founder of CommuniTREE. After their presentations, they kindly took questions from the audience.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. I'd like to welcome you all again and thank you for being here today. My name is Jayant and I work with Thrive as a trainer. I'm really excited to be here with you and to moderate this session. Before we move into the Q&A, I want to take a moment to thank our speakers for sharing their valuable knowledge and experiences with us. Now we will begin with Q&A session. I kindly request the speaker to please turn on their video for this part. Also, I would like to share that unfortunately Tarim Shah is unable to join us for the Q&A session today. We appreciate your understanding and apologize for any inconvenience. I always say with step by step and drop by drop, we'll certainly make a big change for a thrivable future. With that, we move on to the first question, which is open to our all speakers and anyone can answer first. The first question is, if you could describe your dream city of the future in 3 words, what will be that?
So for me, the dream city would be a city which would be designed for people and not cars. So yeah, that's how I would dream a city of.
I would say waking up to the chirps of the birds and going back to sleep with the music of the birds as well. Yeah.
I love those words. They really capture the hope for our future cities. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts on that. So I'd like to start with you, Professor Jayant Mahajan. When did you first realize that tourism can harm the environment as much as it helps the economy?
Oh yeah, this was I think somewhere in early 2000s when I was implementing a IT project for one of the hospitality and tourism company, and I started understanding what tourism is all about. And of course I had some understanding of the business, and so that's when I started realizing that tourism is good for economy, but the way we are implementing it is very harmful for the economy, because you said that tourists who are so insensitive there, and they actually destroy the place.
Oh yeah, after your presentation I was curious for that. Thank you for sharing. Now I'd like to go to Mr. Hafiz Khan. Why are urban forests important for cities today and how we fight for climate change?
At least in India, with such a huge population, the largest population in the world, so we do not have social spaces and we do not have planned cities. So it has just been, spreading like a virus, I should say, expanding without any plans or without any proper structure design in place at all. So therefore, urban forests, with the small spaces wherever we have found, wherever we are restoring back, it plays a beautiful space for pregnant women to come for walking and go back. Elderly people, the grandfathers and grandparents, to come and relax their legs in the, walk and then go back. For children to come there, have a little bit of fun and then go back. Otherwise, they're not having any spaces at all. When will they come and touch? When will they come and walk? When will they play around? So therefore, urban forests which we are creating create a very, very important and prime role. Syed has asked that What challenges have you faced in maintaining these green spaces and how are you overcoming them? Yes, some of the biggest challenges is, so while we take these urban spaces, earlier it were no one's lands, the whole most of the drunkards and smokers, and it was not maintained properly, so they used to be coming drinking and breaking the bottles and going there. So now suddenly we go there and we start to clear up the place and start to plant and maintain, manage it. So all these years they've been using it, right? So in the initial few months, what we face is they come there, sit, drink, and they break the bottles and go, or they smoke and then throw up the cigarettes and the lights and then go back. So that is the only problem which you're facing. But otherwise, the journey has been wonderful. With some time, with information, when the community people start coming in, these miscreants they move away from the place. Yeah. So that's how we want to bring photographers and musicians and dancers and children and artists and everyone to that particular space. Yeah. That's a side. Thank you for asking the question.
Okay, thank you for that explanation, and I hope the audience was clear as well. So I'll like to take more questions from the audience as well. There is a question from Srijit that he asks for Professor Jayant Mahajan. This is for Professor, you emphasize the responsibility of tourists in respecting local cultures and ecosystem, but given that tourism is an interconnected system, shouldn't local communities who depend on tourism as well as local governments and policy frameworks also share responsibility in ensuring tourism is sustainable and mutually beneficial? How do you see the balance of responsibility between tourists, local communities, and governance?
That's exactly what I said in the presentation. No? So you don't see tourism equal to tourists. It's a whole value chain. And you have the tourist, the middlemen, the hosts, and everyone in between who operate in this whole ecosystem created by the government. That's the governance. So, and all of us, we have to take the responsibility. But you have to start somewhere. If I'm a tourist, I can't say, oh, government is like this or the middlemen are like that, so I will not do anything. Or if I'm a middleman, or I'm a host, oh, the tourists are like that, what can I do? I have to give them. So each one of us, we have to start taking individual actions at our end, and hope that the system changes for better. So and it can be done. It's very well, beautifully exhibited by Bhutan as a country where the governance, the local communities, everybody's aligned, and me as a tourist, I'm definitely forced to align. So it is very much possible, and the entire ecosystem has to work. And of course, through the festivals like Gasiari and what Bakri Chap is doing in Uttarakhand, MP, UP, Uttar Pradesh in India, or Madhya Pradesh in India. So yes, those models are working, and there are good examples there.
Oh yeah, thank you, Jayant Mahajan. I hope Srijit is happy with your answer.
Isabella has asked a question about what are some barriers preventing further integration of green infrastructure in cities. Actually, Isabella, the decision makers, the people in positions are number one, not concerned about environment. It's more of business first and purpose second. So there is not even, only when you feel thirsty, you want to drink water, right? Only when it itches, you scratch. So similarly, there's not even a thought or feel about there has to be a green space. So that is why they are not even doing that. I think that is one of the biggest barriers in green infrastructure in cities.
Okay, thank you, Hafiz. Now I'd like to come back again to Jayant Mahajan for the next question. how does irresponsible tourism affect the climate and the local ecosystem? What do you think for this?
Oh, it's a big disaster, and I don't even have to explain. I just have to give you examples. What happened in Kedarnath, that's in the India, the religious hill station, or what happened in which is happening in Uttarakhand, which is again a part of India. While I was traveling, uh, I've seen I visited a place known as Wokha, okay, which is in Nagaland. That's the northeastern part of India, and I was sitting there in a restaurant and having food, and suddenly there's a mosquito, okay, which came in, and your first reaction is, of course, you kill it, right? And when I did that, the owner who was just sitting right there at the counter, he looked at me. He, of course, knew I was cycling around, and he came and spoke to me. He said, it's the first time we are having mosquitoes in this place. It's a cold place, and we've never had mosquitoes. It's the first time we're experiencing mosquitoes. In fact, next year, I may even have to put a ceiling fan. So all these tourist destinations are being impacted negatively because of climate change. They are very soon they'll become unlivable. So irresponsible tourism definitely impacts the place, and it might give you some short-term gains, but long-term it destroys the place. And that's happening to most of the hill stations, most of the tourist destinations which I have been. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. Yeah, I also feel like unmanaged waste that tourists bring for that place. Also, one of the reason, like how they throw the waste. Like in my case, I'm from Nepal, and then like how they are throwing the waste everywhere, the plastic and then everything, and they are like hampering the mountain ecosystem and the rivers. And yeah,
That's true. And like, for example, if I come to your city, Pokhara.
Yeah. Thank you for remembering.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I start demanding, okay, I'm coming from Mumbai, so I need a five-star property, and I need to have pizza, I need to have Coca-Cola, I need to have Pepsi. So that I start demanding all those things. I'm coming to your place, I should have that attitude that I want to experience a local culture, right? Eat local food and not demand what I get in the city while I'm at your place. So that is utter stupidity. That is being irresponsible. And the moment I start demanding it, you from Pokhara, you would feel that, oh, okay, if I give them the five-star comforts and give them pizza, give them the cold drinks, and whatever they demand, I get money. So you fall in the trap, right? And you start catering to my demands. And then for a short while, this ecosystem works, and you will get money. I get to have all the fun that I wanted to have. But in long term, your place starts collapsing. Your culture starts getting destroyed. The ecosystem in Pokhara starts getting destroyed. And then it reaches a point where it is no longer sustainable. Now what happens? Oh, I sit in Mumbai and say, oh, that Pokhara is such a dirty place. Why? Who made it? I made it. I went there and destroyed it. It is my irresponsible attitude which destroyed that place. Right? And you, because you are gullible, you fell in the trap. And that's exactly what is happening to most of these tourist destinations across the world. All these locals, they fall in this trap of making quick money. And the people who visit those places, they are very insensitive, and they don't understand tourism. They the tourism is more of a they do tourism with more of a consumeristic attitude, not really exploring the place. And this is where I think the things start falling apart.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you really highlight how tourism, when unmanaged, can impact both our environment and local communities. Now over to you, Hafiz Khan. I will love to hear your perspective on how do you involve the local community in your project.
Okay. As I said earlier, that we used to involve that people of that passion to come over there. While we also say that, for example, the coming Saturday, we have the International Coastal Day coming up, 20 September happens. So Chennai being the second largest beach in the world. So we are calling this year, last year we had 24,000 people coming. This year we have already crossed 30,000 people coming on Saturday morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. So what we are calling and what we are inviting the schools and colleges and corporate and NGOs and associations is, it is your city and it is your responsibility and it is your pride. So we're putting the whole responsibility on the individual itself, and that's how we invite people in all these projects.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I'm getting more thing here.
Said from Australia, okay, he's asking, Professor Jayant, Mahajan, if you had to give one piece of advice to future policymakers, what about sustainable tourism? What would it be? So the only advice I would really give this policymakers is think long term. Don't look at quick fixes and quick infusion of cash in the economy at the cost of the local culture and the ecosystem.
I will again come back to Jayant Mahajan. How can governments or local authorities enforce eco-friendly tourism policies effectively?
I think first is awareness, and that is what I realized during my journey. People are not aware what their actions are doing to the climate and long-term impact of those actions which are harming the climate on them and their generations. So that awareness is just not there, except for a few people like us who are on this platform, who think about climate change, who have read about it, who are concerned about it. But there are millions out there who don't know about it. So I think the first thing all the government should invest is in spreading the awareness. And when I say spreading the awareness, it's not just talking about SDG goals, right, to a specific small communities, but it's actually going to the grassroots and speaking to them and communicating the harmful effects of climate change and how it is impacting them. That's point number one. One is awareness. Second is the policies exist to protect the ecosystem and have responsible tourism. What lacks is the implementation. And the implementation, there are issues with the implementation because of the entire corrupt system that we have, unfortunately. And the system is corrupt because everybody in the value chain is chasing the short-term gains, and without thinking long-term. So unless we fix all of this, there is no way we can really achieve anything, and of course, in anything tangible in the domain of sustainable tourism. So we need to focus on awareness, focus on implementing the policies successfully, because policies exist. It's more, the problem is the implementation. So these are two things that we really need to work on. So he says that because we can't deny that the tourism has its benefit in many ways. Definitely, yes, it has its benefits, and there's got multiple benefits. One is, of course, me traveling alongside the country, I met Hafiz, a completely different corner of the country where I was from. There's so many. It was a very enriching experience. So it is not just about going and seeing the places and having fun, but it is healing. It is enriching. But then you have to approach your travel in that way, with that kind of a mindset. Only then it has its benefits. Else it becomes else you as a tourist end up becoming a parasite. So let's not be parasites. Let's be real travelers, real tourists, real explorers. Only then it will enrich you and the place both.
Now I want to move to Mr. Hafiz Khan again. How do urban forests make cities more climate resilient?
Especially with our intense plantation method. So we see that climate difference to be 6 degrees to 8 degrees temperature difference. So that is one. And second is uh, we different spaces, we create different urban forests. It could be a social forestry, it could be an agroforestry, or it could be just to enhance the carbon footprints. So in social forestry projects, in agroforestry projects, all the fruits and all the outcomes are enjoyed by the communities over there, the panchayat, the local self-help group women. So therefore, it is climate resilient, and you don't, it's localizing the whole markets and produce rather than globalization. So therefore, it plays a very important role, I would say.
Okay, thank you for explaining. You are making urban forest much more clear, and I am sure that the audience appreciated it as well. I think I can go for one more questions. We are nearly to the end. Jayant Mahajan, what can travelers do to respect local culture and traditions while visiting new place?
So I'll give you my example. Like, for example, when I went to Uttarakhand, yeah, and I went to this village called as Matholi, which is near Uttarkashi. This is the Gadwal part of Uttarakhand in Himalayas. So when I go there, I go with a very curious mindset to understand the culture, to be a part of them. So I don't stick out like a sore thumb out there, but I want to blend with them. Live the life that they live, eat the food that they eat, understand their way of life, and be a part of it. And not bring whatever lifestyle I have in a city there and demand that they start giving me that. You know, start respecting what is like example of the Gasiari, the festival which I just showed, those small videos. You know, it is such a simple festival where the ladies, it's not a festival actually, it's their routine activity where they go and cut grass. But what Rupesh, a friend of mine who runs Bakri Chow, he thought, let's celebrate their daily activity. Because what happens is when I go there, they think, oh, I'm cutting grass, so it's a menial labor. So they don't respect their own work. But the moment we from city, we go there and we say, oh, okay, let's celebrate what you're doing. Now, what happens is they start respecting their own activity, what they do. When I go there, I say that, oh, I don't want to stay in those city kind of luxuries with a very comfortable mattress and all the stuff. I want to stay in the house which is local. I demand that. So then they ensure that their local house, the way it is constructed, is available to me. I say, I want to have your local food. Don't give me pizza, don't give me burgers, don't give me all this junk food, right? I want to have the food that you cook every day, and I want to come in your dining, sit down and have meal with your family. So now what happens is when I as a tourist go to that place and I start demanding local stuff, they start respecting what they have. And when they respect, they preserve, because they know only if I preserve this, the tourist will come here. And in the process, the culture gets preserved, the ecosystem gets preserved, and I enrich myself and enrich the people there in the process. Vis-a-vis, which is happening now, unfortunately, is I go from the city, go to Matholi, the small village in Uttarakhand, and say, oh, I want to have Coca-Cola. I want to have loud music. I want to dance to the tunes of all pop music, right? And then in the process, the people also start selling me music systems, selling me burgers. The whole culture, the entire ecosystem, everything gets destroyed. Short term, there's fun, but long term, you're harming yourself and the place that you are visiting, leaving scars everywhere. So I think it's very important that you go with humility to that place, to be a part of their way of life, and not to stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay, I really like your points and your thoughts, and I am sure that the audience will find them useful too. So we are nearly end of the session, so I'll just ask a quick question for Hafiz Khan. What do you see urban forest evolving in next 10 years?
I think people are becoming more responsible. They are excited. They want to go back to their roots. They are more valuing their past, the traditions, the cultures. So they are finding opportunities to do that. So I see the the next generation, our generation of people have messed up the world. Okay, we have brought in plastic, we have brought in nuisance, we have brought everything. I think the next generation is bringing out AI and machine learning and gadgets which will take away all the plastics from around the world and remove all the trash. And I see a lot of hope. I see that it's going to be a beautiful world.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It gives us a clear picture of what thriving sustainable cities could look like. Thank you so much. Thank you to the speakers for their insights and to everyone here today.